Tinky winky, ooh, hele, la la, lulu, ba ba boo boo, da 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 da, Teletubbies! Oh yeah! Da 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 da.
Hello and welcome to the Goblin Swamp. I am Michael, the aforementioned goblin, and today we'll be answering the question: how in the name of Rani's glorious blue toes do you start playing Elden Ring? This is a guide to guides, a list of them basically, and a summary of helpful tips and tricks that will help you alleviate most of the early game pain and also will hopefully help you structure your playthrough to how you want to play the game. Without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1. What do you want your character to be? There's a bunch of starting options when you're making your character that give you your starting gear and stat spread. And then there's the starting keepsake. Just grab the golden seed to make your flask that refill your health and mana better. That's it. There's really no conversation to be had here. It's the best choice by far. Regarding what starting class to pick, I strongly recommend that you take a look at some of the channels I linked in the description, such as Rage Gaming Videos, Craze Gaming or Fextra Life, because they all have tons of builds on their channels. Watching those will at least show you how the different weapons and abilities, spells in Elden Ring work. And when you see something that strikes your fancy, a particular combination of a weapon and a spell that you want to play around with, you'll know what to go for. I myself am about to start my 5th playthrough, and I've already played a Pure Sorcerer, Dragon Lord of Lightning, Rivers of Blood, Bleed Build Hope connoisseur. And we recently did a cosplay playthrough with my bro Slays, where we played as the bosses Radahn and Malekith, which was a ton of fun. And even now I'm going strong. I can't wait to do my Reaper of Death build, running around with Scythe and Twin Blades, tossing black flame everywhere. And after that I definitely want to do a Kratos God of War build with fiery blades and whips. The point that I'm trying to get across here is to show you basically that there's a metric ton of ways you can play this game, and going through some of the builds, seeing what and how they do what they do will helpfully help you decide what you want your tarnished warrior to be. Number 2, the stats. Remember me saying in the beginning that your starter class gives you your starting stat spread? Well, now we'll take a quick look at them. I'll split these into 2 categories, your body and your weapon. Your body is comprised of vigor, aka health, mind, aka mana, and endurance, aka how many times can you swing your sword, perform a dodge roll, or how heavy your armor can be. The game even tells you this when you hit the learn more while in your character screen. And each of these, just like the ones in the weapon category, gives you a small boost to your defenses against a certain type of damage. What the game doesn't tell you though is that there are caps to these stats before you hit 99, which is the max level for all stats. What does a cap mean? It basically means that any point invested in this stat after that cap gives you so minuscule benefit that you are better off investing these points somewhere else. For vigor, this cap is at 60. For mana, aka mind, your sweet spot will be between 20 to 35 depending on how much you cast spells and spam weapon abilities. And lastly, endurance can be anywhere between 20 to 40, depending whether you're a melee or a spellcaster. And then there's 45 to 50 if you're using colossal weapons, because they're heavier, they chunk a lot more of it. Alright, now for the weapon category. By weapon I mean both physical weapons as well as sorceries and incantations, aka spells. In here we have strength, which is a special one, because if you're running around bonking enemies with strength weapon, I recommend holding it with both hands, because you only have to go up to 66 and you'll reach maximum damage, because holding a weapon with both hands gives you a 50% strength boost, and thus 66 plus 33 equals 99, aka max damage. The rest of the abilities have their caps at 80, except for Arcane, which does technically cap at 80 as well, but Arcane governs the kind of builds, which are about applying statuses such as bleed, poison, etc. And for those builds you'll also need high strength or dex depending on what you're running. And especially on your first playthrough, you're not gonna have enough levels to put 80 in both, because Journey 1 usually ends around level 120 to 150, depending on how diligent you are with clearing the map and how much you lose your runes. As to when level what, my rule of thumb during my Journey 1 was, when I'm not doing enough damage, but don't get too tapped by everything, it's time to level my weapon attribute, which was Intelligence, because I was running a Sorcerer. And when my damage was decent, but I was getting destroyed in 2 hits, it was Vigor time. Alright, that was enough math, cause, yeah, math. Now to number 3, the summons. If anyone tries to tell you that you have to beat Elden Ring solo with a torch and a wooden shield, kick them in their respective plumbing, whilst saying "Begone, foul creature." Whether we're talking the Spirit Ashes summons or the NPC summons, you'd be missing out on some really cool interactions, and especially in case of NPC allies, you'd be robbing yourself of more immersive story progress. For example, in Stormwind Castle, you can meet and talk to an NPC by the main boss room called Nepheli. You can talk to her and she will tell you to call upon her when you fight the Lord of the Castle. And right before the boss, you summon her using her summoning sign, which, by the way, don't worry, doesn't cost you anything. And then you can go and defeat the Lord of the Castle together, and later when you meet her in the game's hub, she'll be friendly with you and even gives you a talisman as a reward. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but to me the game was better when I was rushing a boss together with my boy Alexander yelling, "For glory, my friend!" As per the spirit summons, they are great. Whether you're facing 1, 2 or even 3 bosses at the same time, it's always nice to have someone to distract them while you heal up, restart your buffs, refill your mana, what have you. Plus, a lot of them are really freaking cool. Number 4 on my list is a question. Did you know that you can start the game as level 40 instead of 10 or so, depending on your starter class? There's a nice quick way to alleviate a lot of the early game frustrations by doing this one little thing. It'll take you 15 minutes at most. I will leave it down in the description. It's a link to a video from ESO. Wonderful content creators, so go ahead, give it a look, because it will make your life as a Tarnished Warrior much easier. And lastly, number 5 is a rapid fire bullet point list of tips that will help you out on your journey. Firstly, use your talismans. They can give you extra levels in your stats, boosts your damage significantly, and otherwise are a core part of any build that you can think of. You get your talismans, by the way, or the talisman slots, for defeating the rune bearers, aka the cutscene bosses. Secondly, remember to upgrade your flasks and weapons with their respective materials, as they have significant impact on your journey and your damage output. And lastly, if you really don't want to miss any dungeon, item, site of grace, have somewhere around on your phone, tablet, computer, what have you, open the interactive map of Elden Ring. It's linked in the description for your convenience. If you're looking for a weapon, spell, upgrade material, or anything, literally it's all there. Alright, that's it. Your list of guides to make the most out of your Elden Ring playthrough. I'm Michael from Goblin Swamp. If you found this helpful, click the like button. You know how YouTube works. Good luck. Bye bye.